Hello, and welcome back to Let Supreme Ghost the Dark Mod. We have finally arrived at the Painter's Wife, sort of the pinnacle of the community, at least so far, in terms of a collaborative effort, maybe. There's a lot of authors to this mission, and it's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, mission made for the Dark Mod as of yet. I think this one and Iris would be the two that I've played at least, and that I've heard about, are the size that they are. So this is going to take a long time. No clue how long. This was released in 2020, and this mission was the pretty clear winner of a poll that we ran, I think, during the last Dark Mod video. And I'm not going to start naming authors because I'll leave some out. But a lot of the well-known authors in the community are involved in this. And it doesn't have a tie-in, I think, to any other mission. It's just its own story. So, yeah. We're just going to head right into it. There's nothing else to say here. But other than strap yourselves in, and I hope you're ready.
My old friend Andreas urgently needs my help. He's got a small apartment in a quaint part of the city called Mirkway Quarter, where he makes a modest living off paintings he sells to pompous nobles and the odd merchant. He asked if I could meet him at the Lion's Head Inn. Not long ago, his wife Lily was hired as a servant at the manor of the local alderman, one Lord Marlow. Now she hasn't been home for days. Andreas went to the manor looking for her, but the guard shoved him into the gutter and warned him not to return. Andreas is certain that something bad has happened, and I don't think he's wrong. Putting myself in harm's way isn't something I take lightly, especially when it comes to men like Marlow, who dole out their own brand of justice. But I owe Andreas my life for pulling my frozen body out of the city canal all those winters ago. My first order of business is to find out where Lily is. Andreas believes the servants' wing is in the manor's basement, so I should look there first. While I'm there, I must also deal with Marlow one way or another. Can't have him sending his men after us. And even though Lily is the priority, I'll be helping myself to whatever trinkets I find. Andreas said that Lily overheard the guards talking about a very expensive painting in Marlow's gallery on the top floor. Swiping that would be a damn good start. Andreas has given me a map of Mirkway Quarter, which should make navigating this maze of stone and beam easier. He also mentioned there's a weaponsmith and apothecary nearby, so I should stock up on supplies before heading out.
Alright, there we are. So yeah, there are actually quite a few little hints in the briefing that I really appreciate that you wouldn't necessarily pick up on a first playthrough. However, it did make a reference to the fact that we can deal with Marlow non-lethally or the lethal way, and it showed a clip of the courthouse where we're actually going to be able to leave some information to deal with him non-lethally. So it's nice that there's that option. But we can also outright kill him. And a couple of other things in the briefing as well that you might, of course, find interesting and useful. That the girl, Lily, is in the basement of Marlow's, and that we have to access her. It's not going to be that easy, though. And that we have a good map, a very good map of the mission. That is going to be crucial. However, I can't point in the map. I've mentioned that before. I don't really like that in the Dark Mod, but that's going to be a minor inconvenience only. It's an auto map at least, so that's good. It tells us where we are, if we're in the streets, that is, not inside buildings. rescue the painter's wife and bring her back to the apartment. So that we physically have to do. I don't think there's a way to do this without bringing her back, because she's alive. Corrupt nobles like Marlow only understand wealth, steal his most prized painting. So I think this one of the paintings that Andrea sold to him? There's a readable that if I remember pointing that out, in Andrea's apartment that mentions the painting. Maybe it isn't. I haven't figured that out 100%. While you're at the mansion, deal with Lord Marlow, so that's going to be further fleshed out later. Take Marlow for everything he's got, then see what else you can find. After this, you're going to have to lay low, so 4,000 is a must. There is there's over 7,000 in the mission. We're not going to be able to get all of it for Supreme, for reasons that I'll explain. So we have to skip a few pieces of loot. You value your reputation, so take what you must, but do it quietly. No killing except for Marlow. Once the night's tasks are complete, make your way to the passage at the southwest city gate. We started in the northwest, so we're not ending where we start the mission. There are going to be a few other objectives as well, I think. So this one is going to be divided into 2, and then there are 3 additional objectives as well that we will get. 1 that is mandatory, and 2 that are optional because you can choose not to trigger them. But we should be able to do all the objectives. And this mission should be Supreme Ghostable. There is one situation when we get to Lily that I will discuss. There is a potential bust there that I want to hear your opinion on, that I've already aired a little bit on the forums, whether something is a ghost bust or not. There is a way actually around that. If we feel it is a ghost bust, there's a way to deal with that situation that would circumvent the ghost bust, but that would still mean it's a Supreme bust, that alternate way. I'll explain all this as we go through. I have a pretty extensive list here of things that I need to show you and the order of things. So I'm going to look at my notes quite a bit. So I'm not going to go slower than normal, but it is already going to be a long video. But I want to show you everything when it's this involved of a mission. So yeah, let's just get straight to it.
Bring her back, Palmer. If Marlow's done anything to her, I can't bear thinking about it.
Alright, so this is Andreas then, and we're at the Lion's Head Inn right now, where we met him and had a chat. This mission is made by Fractured Glass Company. I didn't say that, that's what they call themselves, the collective of all the authors here. Let's see, so we can see we start in the northwest on Cobble Street. An auto map, like I said, but only when we're outdoors, not inside buildings. Marlow's Manor is in the southeast, so that's where our main objective is, but there's stuff to do all around town. There is a fairly extensive underground sewage system that links quite a few of these central buildings together. Not in the area of town we're in now. There are also some mansions or manors that we can't get into that are named on the map, but the majority of them we can. We are going to sort of make 2 half loops through the town. We're gonna, it's difficult to explain, but we're gonna take a clockwise route right now up to Factory Square, down through part of the courthouse, or no, not through the courthouse, but through Knife Street, and then we're going to head southwest all the way down towards Gilford's apartment, but we're going to go underground and do some things in the sewers along the way. And then far southwest and make our way east to Marlow Manor. And then we're going to do a few things on our way back, but then we're going to bring along Lily and do a few other things. And then...
I trust everything's going well. Please, hurry.
Okay, we'll get on our way here. Let's make a real save first. So before we start heading north, we are going to jump into this window right here. Okay, here is a health potion. We don't need that. There's a readable here. Thieves hideout tip. Henrik. So Agatha's crew has a sweet setup down by the old sewer cistern, and word is she has a large stash just ripe for the taking. Not many ways in or out, so you gotta have some stones to get in there. And then some light fingers to lift it from right under her nose. B. So this will trigger a new objective.
My time once all my other tasks are done. Never hurts to have some extra loot.
So that brings an optional objective to our list. Relieve the thieves the stash in their hideout. So that I want to do, and I wanted to read it now, so we got that objective listed already. There might be another way to list it. Maybe if we just take it without having read this note, we might still get it in our list. I haven't actually tried that. Now, I am going to bring this tip along with me because you can use it to make makeshift moss arrows where we cushion our drops. I don't think you actually need to do that anywhere in the mission, but it will help. And in the case we get stuck guards that are close to what we need to drop, we might need to use it. I can easily return this later because we're going to go back to Andrea's apartment, which is just south of here. You can see it's on Shackle Street in the northwest. So now we can head this way. Okay. Not sure what that was. Let's head up here. Go this way. You don't actually have to be in the streets hardly at all in this mission. You can navigate pretty much, well, the entire town can be navigated from rooftops and ledges and through buildings. But there's also not a lot of stuff to do on street level. There is the areas where you need to get in and out of the sewers. Okay. Here is a vent. We don't need to go through this. But here we actually see out to Cobble Street, right outside the lines head in. And here is an exit. This is on the south side. This is right above Russell Square, north of the Crystal Tower. Again, we don't need to use this vent, but I just wanted to show it to you as an alternate way. We're gonna head up here. There's a garden here. This is above Factory Square. Here is a rope to another rooftop attic. And This is above Mallow Manor. You can't get into Mallow Manor. I thought for a long time you could, but you can't. Here's a readable, a paper. Had to leave my previous digs after old Macro gave up the location to the watch after they leaned on him. After noticing the for sale sign on this place, I figured there might be something worth snatching. Spotted the open window, but it looks like the hatch is nailed up tight from the inside. For now, this attic should be safe to use for a while until I make my way to Aberwick and meet up with Bessie. See if she has any jobs for me. So that's the hatch she's referring to. You can't get down there. Let's move along here. And the only thing of interest really in this northern square is this. So there are 13 other pieces of loot hidden throughout the quarter. See if you can find them all. So there's 14 in total. This is one out of those 14. And we should be able to get all 14, no problem, for Supreme. This is worth 25. Now we basically just have to drop back to town here. Not that way. Didn't get the deck to there. We can drop onto this. Good. There's a guard. Okay, so there's a total of 3 patrolling guards that have arrows in the northern half of town. I don't know how far their patrols extend really, but they have arrows if you're looking for pickpockets. Now, broadheads don't count properly towards the pickpocket, but anyway, this is the armory that was mentioned. Here's a readable. It was a pleasure doing business with you. Don't hurt to have full purse now and then. I will press the next flash bomb caissons on the machines over me next shift and drop them down among the junk like nows. Who cares for some metal sheets and springs anyways? So, I think this is from a letter from the factory right next door, because there are some flash bombs and flash mines in there, but I don't know if these flash bombs are supposed to be located anywhere that he's referring to. I haven't found them, at least. Alright, so in here we have a flash bomb, we have a mine, we have 4 broadhead arrows, we have, I believe, a noisemaker arrow here, we have 3 water arrows, and there's also, I think, a rope arrow up here. So we don't need to go in there. We just want to read this note over here. This is Factory Square. This is the outside of Mallow Manor. For immediate sale, furnishings and personal effects belonging to the estate of the late Lieutenant Mallory Hart at the most advantageous prices. Inquire within. Okay, we don't need to do that. So we want to go back up here now. You can climb that pipe. You can mantle up that shed too. But it's just easier to do this, I guess. This is factory. You can't get in here without getting any alerts. When he's stationed in there, he hears this drop, but when he is stationed over there, which he will be soon, he will not hear it. So in here we have 2 flash mines. And a notice. Lewis, I've been looking through our material acquisitions and goods sold, and something doesn't add up. You have to make more detailed production entries. If there are scraps or failures, it has to be reported in the machinery logs. Consider this fair warning. Further failures of material usage will be reported to Mr. Stevens. And replace the bulb above the window. Oliver, head of Mirkway Waterworks.
There's an armed intruder here. God! God! Leave me alone. I didn't do help. There's an armed intruder. Leave me alone. I didn't do anything. Help. There's an intruder here.
Okay. So yeah, nothing else in here. Just very cool factory. A lot of detail.
God! God! Somebody help me.
It's just a lot of work put into putting detail into buildings that you don't really have to go into. Just adds to the world building. So instead, we can go into this window, which is Mr. Stevenson, the factory owner, his quarters. See, so we have the thieves' hideout tip. That's really all we have picked up. Dear Mr. Stevenson. So here Stevenson is written differently from the letter in the factory itself. It was PH and EN, I think. So, I'm writing to you in regard to the continued noise from your factory. I appreciate that times are hard and one must make ends meet by extending the working hours of the factory. Normally I spend most of my evenings down the Lion's Head, so I don't have to listen to the noise, but having your machines banging away past the 11th bell toll is simply not acceptable. Regards, Mr. Astwith. So maybe this is Mr. Astwith's quarters instead then, since he's living close to the factory and he's about to send this letter. We are really just making our way through this in order to head out here, which is then north on Knife Street. Make our way through town here. Another one of those patrolling.
Fits perfectly now.
Oh. I thought I just mantled. I didn't know that I... It's so difficult to know how far away you have to be to mantle something in the dark mod. See? Either you jump up on it, or you miss the mantle entirely. There. It's a perfect sweet spot. Okay. So this looks very much like the picture we saw in the briefing, except for the outfit is slightly different. Let's see what happened here. I don't have the time nor the inclination to entertain associates that have the temerity to question my methods. You were useful, but clearly that has come to an end. M. So M is most probably Marlow, right? Here is Percival's journal. Well, this must be Percival then. Up till now, my dealings with Lord M have been productive and mutually beneficial, but I have begun to question his state of mind as of late. His behavior has become increasingly questionable at best, reckless at worst. I don't care much for the common folk, but I draw the line at kidnap and abuse. I warned M that going down this route would not bode well for him, but instead of taking the advice from one colleague to another, he flew into a rage and got one of his guards to escort me off the premises. The look in his eyes tells me we won't be having any further dealings. I think I may have to hire a guard for the next few weeks, just to be on the safe side, but for now all I need is a good night's rest. Alright, nothing else in here, so we can just avoid, you can't put that book back properly, so we won't do that. Let's climb up here. Here's a bird's nest with a stack of silver coins. So that's the second out of 14 hidden loot items. Alright. Good. So this is the crystal tower that we got to go into, but if you go up this ledge, you can take that around, and down here you see the vent that I showed you through Marlow Manor. So I don't know if you can actually climb up here from there. I think you can. But you can't go further east. No, you can. You can go onto the rooftops and get all the way back to Lion's Head. So there's a sleeping guy in the crystal tower, so you got to be careful here not to make sure you use the creep key. Let's see. So he's sleeping there. So here, in order to avoid a first alert, you got to sort of drop onto this slope. Slow here. And one of the items we need here is this mysterious stone that will yield us a loot later. Let's read this. Dear Master Demolithius, I write to you as I could not help but notice that once more Archimedes has grown dull and his tone somber, no longer lifting my spirits and as readily as he once had during those long evenings in my study. Therefore, I must ask of you to perform yet another rejuvenation. You would, of course, find generous recompense, as well as a seat at my grand fireplace to savor my collection of exotic teas. Yes, yes, I know you shall not miss an opportunity to remind me that the only lasting solution would be to return Archimedes to his natural habitat. But that is simply no option. The journey in which I obtained him was adventurous to an extraordinary degree, one that I do not seek to repeat. Even if I were still blessed with my former youth and vitality, in any case you'll find yourself most welcome at my manor at Upper Street, and I'll be happy to share my tale. I look forward to hearing from you. Best regards, Lord Harrington, Sr. So, Archimedes might be found at Lord Harrington's then, which Harrington Manor is sort of centrally just southwest of the bell tower, and there is something there that we will find later that indicates that Harrington has indeed made quite a journey to somewhere else. Now I think there is a link between 3 different locations here in the map that sort of forms a sort of a wizard guild or a club. We have this guy here in the Crystal Tower, and then we have Harrington Manor, and then in the far southwest you have Anderson Manor, and Anderson also has ties to some otherworldly locations that indicate that there is sort of a wizards association, at least, going on in town. It's a little bit hidden and between the lines, but that's what I gather. Okay, we want to jump up here and get up to the attic. Here, we have a purse worth 50, total 100, and we have something called a fragment. The gemstones. King Severus, whose terrible death had so shocked the learned men of his time, was a beloved sovereign before his turn to the occult. His wealth was considered outstanding by the austere standards of the 5th period, and none was as famed of his riches as an elaborate box filled with precious gemstones. Yet after his dismembered and charred form was brought from his former home, and his cadaver laid to rest beneath the chattering streets, no sign of the box was ever found, and indeed most considered it lost to thieves, or the baleful forces Severus had so carelessly invoked. Nonetheless, it is also recorded that a loon, his first in command, who had followed Severus to the city from the trackless southern wastes, was last seen at his king's entombment, and had hurled a small bundle inside the vault before, as was the custom of those days, the royal tomb was sealed with naught but a lead sigil. And as the last brick was set in place, he was heard to mutter, "As thou hast been mine king, so shall I guard thee forevermore, when thou art long ashes and dust." And that was the last anyone had seen of King Severus's faithful servant. It is therefore conjecture, but not impossibility, that the fabulous box might have been inside that bundle, and that a loon might have outfitted it with a trap, perhaps a poisonous needle or similar device. With regards to the vault, the burial rites of the 5th period specified resting places beneath the city renowned for... Okay, so this fragment does give some indications as to where this tomb is found, and there is indeed a box of jewelry there. In particular, it talks about King's Entombment. And if we look at the map, in the southeast there is King's and Co., that's a business, and there's King Street. So most likely that would be the area where he is found, and it is indeed. Let's not pick that up. There is no objective connected to this, but I wish that there, when you read this fragment, there was also an optional objective to find his tomb. Okay, let's see. So we can actually drop down here without alerting him. There, if we do that, then you don't drop onto the dresser or the cabinet, which will give an alert, and you hit the quiet rug. So that definitely will get caught from that. This is more difficult, though. We can't be there. When you jump, you can't be knocking your head and then your feet back onto the windowsill. So we have now gone on the east side of the Crystal Tower, and we're now in the southeast corner of Russell Square. And in here we have another open building. Barnard's Journal. While down at the Lion's Head, I overheard talk about the old Bridge Street pump house. The pump house used to be maintained by the builders till the city took ownership of it. So there's supposed to be an abandoned chapel that's somewhere below the main structure. There's rumored to be a holy reliquary down there, namely the chalice of the St. Alban, just sitting there on a pedestal, ripe for the taking. The rub is, no one knows where the entrance is, and there have been rumors of a ghostly apparition guarding the place. Interesting.
A golden chalice will fetch a pretty penny. I should see if I can find this chapel.
So we got a suspicion there. I think that was maybe when we dropped the book back. Not sure.
A golden chalice will fetch a pretty penny. I should see if I can find this chapel.
So we got another optional objective now. Never hurts to steal a golden chalice from a buried chapel. So those are the two optional ones I talked about earlier. There's one more objective that we are going to get, in addition to what we already have. 3 well-hidden coins up here. Total 103. Now we can, we are kind of stopped here, going east. So we have to, you can drop down, you can climb down the pipe and then jump across, but it's fiddly. And it doesn't really lead to anywhere necessary. So we're going to hop up here instead. And make our way. We're continuing south now. This is blocked off. Here we have an archer with arrows. We're now on the rooftop of Remington Manor. Okay, on Mirk Way. So we're now east on Mirk Way. Let's see. Go in here, he won't see us this way. There's a sleeping guard. This footlocker's empty. Take these coins here, total 114. And we're going to leave through this window, but we want to wait for him to leave, because that shouldn't make noise, but will be very visible. Might stay here for a little while. Did knock that over. Yeah, not there. There we go. Alright, so now we are a little bit further west. We're not on Step Street. That actually goes down here. We're north. We're sort of on Hemp Way, I would say, rather. a rope underneath us here that we should be able to catch onto, maybe? No. There, now we can. So we're gonna come down here. Mantle up here, and then we're gonna head into Remington Manor itself, the one below. I don't think that those guards are considered part of the Remington Manor, but in the same building. So this is showing, we should be on Hemp Way now. This is west towards Shackle Street. This room is empty, there's nothing in that.
At least it's better than mucking around on the streets near
Let's see.
Riverside.
Alright. So those two doors there lead out.
Quiet. I should summon a minstrel.
That's a guard that you heard go out. He goes out to those two balconies. This is Remington himself, I think. This is a cabinet that we're going to pick open. Because there is a bottle of wine in there. 224, and then there's a book on the table. That Rowland Harwoode is vile swine, lording that emerald over me. Who does he think he is? Just because he has a balcony above mine doesn't make him any better than me. That gem should be mine by right. I won it at Lady Hilderley's auction, but because he has the ear of the lady, he could swarm his way into buying it outright after the fact. The nerve! I should wring his neck this very instant, but I must maintain my composure. My day will come. My good-for-nothing brother has contacts of the worst kind, people who could arrange for it to never be seen again. I don't care if it winds up in the Minoan Desert, just as long as he doesn't get to keep it. So Harwoode has an emerald, huh? So here we have a statue. There comes the guard. Good timing, because that's where we need to go. Oh, that wasn't good placement. All right. Thought we could go out here. I guess not. Maybe I'm thinking of a different place. Yes, I am. Okay. Now we can climb up here. Down there is an open window. To the east, that leads into the courthouse. We're not going to go there. Here's a guard. We're We're gonna go into, that's Harwoods right there. We're gonna go in there in a little bit.
That's not
How did you hear that, sir?
what makes.
This is the balcony where that other archer came out, the vent that we exited. We're gonna drop here because there's a very well hidden piece of loot here. Single coin. That doesn't count towards one of those 14 hidden ones, by the way. It's only worth 1. 375. I found most of the hidden loot items on my first playthrough. I think it was missing 2. Maybe 1 or 2. Gotta wait for him to turn. Let's make a real save, shall we? So this is Harwood's, his gallery. And here is his emerald. The emerald heart discovered in Minoa 942 has changed hands countless times, both peacefully and violently. Okay. Did you acquire it peacefully? Oh, you gotta frog that again to get it. 200. Here we have Crest of the Order of the Knights of Sen, founded in 842 by Sir Orn after the Minoan Battle of 913. Family crest of the Bergerois, counted among the oldest families of Bridgeport. Crest of the Order of Erkath, founded in 789 by Amnos, Lion of Arcan. Field armor of Sir Goodwin and Elslan, commanders of the Holy Army in the Battle of Cornat. None of these can be opened, by the way. We do have a letter here. Dear Mr. Bailey, I send you my gratitude for your careful review of my request and my personal circumstances. However, I must express my great perplexion as to the decision at which you have arrived. Though I do not enjoy the merits of an opulent, well-guarded estate, my more modest accommodation offers considerable advantages. For one, my gallery is much less visible, perhaps even invisible, to the public eye, and by consequence, to would-be pilferers. For the other, I am comfortably able to pay a well-equipped mercenary to guard my collection at all times of the day. Given the limited floor space, I'm in fact able to provide protection for my exhibits that is comparable to, if not better than, that provided by a sprawling museum. In light of these aspects, which I feel weren't fully considered in your review, I respectfully ask you to reconsider your decision on the relocation of the bust of Archiver. It would truly be an enrichment for my gallery, and I would undertake every measure to ensure its safekeeping. With the most sincere regards, Mr. Harwoode, number 3 Mirkway Quarter. Now, this bust of Archiver doesn't exist anywhere, does it? Because this is a letter that we can pick up and bring along with us. Normally that means there's some important information here. I mean, we're already at Harwoode, so it's not like we need this to find Harwoode's place. Or am I mistaking something here? Is this Mr. Bailey's gallery and there is another Harwoode's gallery? I'm not sure. Okay. So here is a window out to... This is the Upper Bridge Street area. There's actually 2 layers to this. You have Bridge Street and Upper Bridge Street. And then here, you have a balcony that takes you into Solitude Gardens. We're going to get there a different way later. Quite a bit later. Head in here. Take these two goblets and this statue here. I didn't actually know he went all the way out there. I must admit. I thought he just went in here. Okay.
Beat him 3 nights in a row. Wonder when he'll give up. He already owes me an entire week's pay.
Let's take this then. We do not need to read anything here. We just have to wait for the guard to come back. So we are now in Barrington Manor. Although Mr. Harwoode lives here.
Hey.
Oh, I didn't know he came all the way over here. Okay, so now we are on a balcony on the eastern area of Upper Bridge Street. So we can see a bridge there, you can see the lower streets down there. Let's drop here. Drop here, and then drop onto this open window. And head actually north into this building. So that will actually take us, this open window here takes you back to Market Square, which we haven't been to yet. We will go there much, much later, because we need to drop something off at the courthouse. Evidence against Marlow, yes. So we'll cover Market Square then. For now, I just wanted to go through this building, which I won't do later, to read this. Clock Tower. Have you noticed how all 4 sides of the clock tower on Hook Street still tick the wrong talk? Blasted inventor junk almost made me miss my appointment today. Had I not thought to glance at my own timepiece. The clock tower, if it can even be called as such right now, has been like this for a month, and still no word on when it's going to be fixed. I'll make a wager with you. If I went down to the pub right now, I'd meet the chief intendant in person. And it's only been a few months since it broke down last. Either they've got absolutely worthless mechanics in their employ, or someone's sitting up there tampering with the gears. I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if both were true, given the way things seem to work in the city. Regards, Egbert. So that's a hint to the fact that there is something in the clock tower. Save the clock tower. Whoa. He saw us. So that was a reference to, obviously, one of the best movies of all time, right? Back to the Future. Our family loves that trilogy. We watch all of them probably every year. The first time we watched it, our 6-year-old went to school the next day and called his teacher a butthead. So that backfired a little bit. I had to explain to him that wasn't really a nice thing to say. I guess he wanted to be Biff. We want to drop here into a mantle, sort of. Yeah, there we go. So there is a guard that goes here that has arrows. You can pick another one. Yeah, there he is. Climb down here, actually. Can go north here as well. Sorry, south. But we are going to drop all the way down here. We are not going to do that, because they will hear that. There we go. That's what we want to do. There we go. Nice. So now we're all the way down at street level. So now we're on Bridge Street. We're in the northern parts where it says bridge. So our goal is now to go to the pump house. We are going to do quite a few things underground. But we're going to cover this little street here first. Right here, we're now in a little underground alley. And here is the last piece of loot that I found. After a couple of playthroughs, I found all the loot except for one gold. And it's this coin here. And it's frustrating because when there's market stands like this, I always check them thoroughly. But this one, you have to lean forward and sort of it's in the corner of it. So when I found that, I was very happy. I knew it was a coin because I was only missing one. So I guess I just went through and frantically searched every place where there could be a coin, like every ledge like this, you know, stuff like that. See, 756, that's what we should have. This is the blacksmith. Have to pick this open because there's loot inside. So I'm always minimizing all my lockpicks. Melting fireplace, you know. Smelter, that's what they call it. But he has a money box that's more important for us. Where he has 2 stacks of silver coins, total 762. Worth 5 and 1, those two. Out of the different authors that I've played from the Dark Mod, this mission reminds me most of a Milan mission. And he was obviously one of the authors, a part of this. So the overall feel, it doesn't feel strictly like a Milan mission, of course not, but he is the author that I would say it resembles the most. Notice, the elevator is out of order until further notice. A journeyman from the Inventors Guild has been summoned and will make repairs in due course on behalf of Pendley Estates. So I guess this is kind of apartment complex. then we're gonna head into.
What was that?
We're gonna head into the pump house. This takes you north into Market Square. This guy's neutral. He's just a drunk. We're going to go into the pump house right now. Oh.
What was that?
Didn't know that guard was right there.
It's not my fault, I'm right.
Okay. Message to a guard. Holland, I've asked Captain Roscoe, and he has been here the longest. He says if you lost it, you lost it. The only key to the cistern gate down there is with the sir, and he will not be bothered about some cheap necklace. Serves you right for listening to whatever weird noises were coming from down there instead of feeding the furnace. Roscoe says these tunnels are old escape routes from the time noble families laid siege to each other's fortresses. The sewers only came later. There's probably all kinds of lost crap down there. And you should be happy you only lost a sweetheart's gift, not a limb or two. There was a guy, old Porter, went over some railing at Master Coleman's cellar. By the time they dragged him out, the rats got to him. They say you could hear his screams all through Lowcrest Street. I only saw the bloody sheets on the body, since they covered it by the time I got there, but everyone was pale, as if they'd seen death himself. So, as I was saying, don't even think about going down to investigate. Leave that thing well alone, and keep the hatch closed. So this is a hint to something being in the sewers, that have been lost in the sewers. And not some old tomb relic, but something that a guard lost. And this I should have paid attention to better. It's a necklace. It says so. And that necklace I didn't find until very, very late. It was one of the last pieces I found. I think the second to last one. We're gonna head down here now. So over here's a notice. Attention! It's bad enough that we've had instances of Taffers using it to gain access to the sewers, but when Gabor had one too many and fell down and broke his arm, enough is enough. That and it's not a toilet. Your guards, not common street folk.
These things are pretty quiet.
If you need to take a leak, go down to the sewer, you lazy gits. Jump up on the rafters here, but first I'm going to go do something else. Head down here. Okay. Now, this gate down here leads you into the sewers. It is pickable, but it can't be relocked once you pick it open, and I don't like that. I want to minimize lock picking as much as I can. You can block it when this guy goes through. If you block it right before it closes, he won't notice, and you can go in. But then it's still left unlocked, and we caused it to be unlocked then. So there is a way to play the mission without ever unlocking this. So that's what I'm gonna do. Because I don't like to tamper with locks too much. But here is a vent. And this actually takes us into Archway Club, which is a secret club.
A servant should deal with that.
And here's actually Marlow. He has two things on his pocket. Purse, which we're going to take, and a key, which we're not going to take. That key could be very useful for us. It's an elaborate key, it's called. The purse was worth 862 total. So that elaborate key can help us get down to Lily's easier, and it can help us to remove Lily from Marlow's easier. But if you return keys, you can only return it to the patrol route. I don't like that. I think that's too invasive if I can avoid it. And you can also play the mission without taking that elaborate key. So that's what I'm going to do. Marlow is typically upstairs here in this club.
To me, there's an
But he comes down a lot and goes to the restroom a lot.
It is nearly time.
What time to take a dump? So we cannot go up to the club through the stairs, because if we do that, there's a guard, a stationary guard, that will see us. He always gives us a suspicion. Right there. You can get in with only a suspicion. So for Ghost, you're fine, but for Supreme, we can't do this. You can go further here as well.
I know you're...
So he will catch us. So we have to find a different way into the clubhouse, because there is one more piece of loot that we need in there. So we're blocked from going up the stairs, but at least we got Marlow's purse this way.
What was that?
Oh, that we can't do. I didn't hear that. Okay, good. And now, instead, we can go up here. Because here is a grate in the ceiling and one here. This is the one we're going to take.
This must be the buried chapel. I need to watch my step.
Yeah, so this is actually the abandoned, the buried chapel. So this is, was it St. Albans Chapel or something like that they called it? Isn't that readable? This was Barnard's journal that talked about this. So here's the chapel. Here's a health potion and a holy water vial, I think it is. But more importantly, we have a chalice here that we're going to take. This is just a blocked off pathway. That triggers a ghost, I guess, but it spawns facing away from us and then walks directly into that room. So that's helpful. It's a haunt, I think, transparent. But that's not a bus to... to do. But this can hear us even when we're in here, so we got to be careful. So that took care of that optional objective, and it was worth 200. 1062. Then we can head up this way. Did I close both of those? I did. Okay, here's a vent shaft that can take you down to an area that's boarded up. You can't get in here, but you can see into the clubhouse. So if you haven't found it yet, you can get a hint that it's there. We're going to go this way instead. This is the sewer manager's office. And up the stairs here is another pickable door to a section of the sewers that's different from the other one. The other one is lower down. This is a higher level of the sewers. This area of the sewers we do not need to ever get into. I will show it to you from a different place, but it's just connecting three parts of town, but there's nothing to pick up in there that is interesting for us. This is a pickable door, so I of course want to skip that one as well. There are three parts to the sewers on different levels. Here's a health potion. Sewer Manager's Journal. Let me see. Yeah. Here we go again. Another day in paradise. Bathed in the perfume of the Mirkway sewers. Steam pressure nominal. Through flow gauge showing above average consumption. I suppose the locals are all cooking supper right now. I could use a bit of mutton stew myself, if the air weren't so rank down here. Investigating a small clanking sound from the inflow valve revealed a loose bolt that was summarily fastened. Another deeper sound remains unidentified, though it seems to be coming from below the boiler. I wonder if it's coming from that gambling den underneath this office. It's not much of a secret amongst us sewer workers. We've all heard the music echoing late at night from the vents down the lower street substation. Besides, it's hard not to notice all the well-to-do noble stiffs who come strolling past my door at all hours of the night. I guess the excitement of forbidden vice is worth having to hold your nose to get there. Okay. We can open the door this way, and we're going to close this door. You can only close it from the inside. We're not going to need to go back here at all. There. Because we have 1062, and that's what we are supposed to have. And the entrance to the clubhouse is right there, but you need the clubhouse key to get in. We don't. We are now north on Lower Street. So we're not far away from where we actually dropped pump houses back that way. So on Archway and Lower Street. So the club is actually called Archway Club because of the location. So we are now going to actually head back down to the sewers. Because in order to get to other parts of the sewers where we need to be, we need to pick either the 2 locks in the sewers, the one I showed you, where the guard was using it, and then 1 more into the cistern, or we can go this way, and this way we have to go anyway, because this is the alternate way into the clubhouse to get that other piece of loot. So this, since we're already going to pick this, then I would much rather do this and avoid the other lockpicks rather than pick all of them. This is the substation. You can see the substation on Lower Street on the map there. This is... not sure if this is supposed to be the sewer manager.
I care too much. That's my problem.
That's your problem.
Just relax.
Here is a vent key that we're going to need. We can return that. We can return all the keys in this mission. Oswin, after going through the books, I've discovered more than a few discrepancies regarding our material acquisitions in your department. Something's fishy here, and I intend to root out what's causing the stench. I know you and Lewis are up to something, and so help me if I will rain down the builder's fury on everything that is you and yours, if so much as a single screw is missing during the next audit. You've been warned. Oliver, head of Mirkway Waterworks. There's also a flash bomb here. Now, I don't think flash bombs are as valuable in the Dark Mod as they are in Thief. Because in Thief, you could always use a flash bomb and then knock somebody out. Unless they were wearing, like, a metal helmet or something. But I don't think in the Dark Mod you can do that. If they get alerted from a flash bomb, then... then they will be alerted. They can't. They can't be knocked out. Okay, here is the vent that we need the vent key for. It's not a pickable vent. It's a vent that is locked. But it brings us into the clubhouse a different way.
Good evening to you. You did say it's something.
Well met.
So the lady, the maid, sometimes see you.
Well met.
Oh dear.
But that takes us into the kitchen where the only piece of loot is, 1172. Let me do no targets here. So I can show you guys what else is in here. Here is a copy of the clubhouse key. Yes, yes, lady. Right there. Opens the front doors. Here are people playing cards. Here's the guard that also has the clubhouse key. The guard that caught us earlier. Here's the main entrance doors. Yep. And that's the door down to the basement where Marlow is still down there. He must have eaten something. Here is a love letter that we can read. My dearest Rose Blossom, how I long for the touch of your skin once more. How I long to smell the lavender in your hair. I simply cannot stop thinking about you, my sweet Verbena. I cannot stand us being apart for so long. I hope you aren't cavorting with that rabble down in that rank gambling den again, as that place befit only for fraudsters and at heists. Atheists.
There are those who are afraid of
Atheists. And you know those men don't read you like a proper lady, treat you like a proper lady. But I digress. Surely a smart and noble dame such as yourself would never entangle herself with such lowbrow heathens. I eagerly await your next reply, so don't be a little minx and keep an old man waiting too long. And perhaps for our next rendezvous, you'll be so good as to wear the purple bodice that really sparks my piston. Till we meet again, my sweet lambkin. Faithfully yours, Lord Edwin Hemmelreich IV. Interesting. Okay. Up there was the vent that we could see out through, but it was boarded up. Alright. That's everything from the clubhouse. We've taken the loot. We're going to leave.
No one else takes any notice of this much time.
Lock this back up. We will return the vent key a little bit later. We're going to head into the cistern and find the thieves' hideout. So this is, in addition to the substation door, the other door that we have to pick down here to get to the loot that we need. So you need to pick 2 locks to get into the hideout. But if you pick the other 2 locks, I've showed you one of those, to go from below, then you have to pick this lock in order to go up and get the loot from the clubhouse. So then you have to pick 1 more. 3. So I want to keep it to 2, so I want to come through the substation instead. Which we're doing now. This is an upper part of the sewers. It's actually a separate section entirely of the sewers from what I mentioned. Let's make another real save here. No, 3. Here are rats. Okay, no, we don't want to do that. We actually want to drop all the way into the water here now. The thieves' hideout is in there. There are 2 patrolling guards. At least one of them come out here. If you drop from high up like this, you shouldn't really get a first alert. At least I didn't think so. No. Typically we don't. So this is the cistern. First, we are going to climb down here and through a broken vent. We're now in the deepest part of the sewers. This is an abandoned part of the sewers. It's a broken ladder, a door. That is not a probable door. Is this one? We'll get to that a little bit. Very other end, there should be a gold plate. Down here, 35. You can't continue. This is a door that we have to pick if we want to get all the loot, so. Necessary. This is an old abandoned part of the sewers. Here we have an area with some spiders. These are small spiders. They don't react to us. Here is a dead thief, it looks like. The only thing of interest is this. We have to pick this as well. And there's a trophy in there worth 250. That's... isn't that our... That's our third hidden loot item, yeah. We have 11 to go. Pretty safe down here. Let's go back. This is the west side. There's a little control room, and there's a breath potion here. A hint to the fact that you might need to dive and make a swim. And this is the other pickable door. That to get to the thieves' hideout, you have to pick that one as well. That takes you into the first part of the sewers, where that guard went, or came from. I will show you that at length later, because we do need to go there. There's loot in there, and I'm going to drag Lily through part of that. We are now going to tackle the thieves. Thieves' hideout. Now, you can get to the thieves simply by walking in through the main doors, but there's a ladder here. That we can use. That would be much better. Here you can get into the restroom of the thieves' hideout. Or you can get into another area. We're not going to go either of those ways right now. We are in fact going to go up here, because that takes us straight into the leader's room, Agatha. To get up there we have to do this, and a rat comes in. And this is beneficial because Agatha's door, there's Agatha, the door is pickable and we don't need to pick it now, which is great. Okay. Let's read her journal first. We lucked out when we found this old pump station. Didn't take long to spruce it up either. I had one of the boys saw off one of the ladders to the cistern walkway. This will surely slow down any nosy taffers trying to make their way through that area. Our crew is small, sure, but we work well together and keep a low profile. I don't take on jobs that are too risky, and I told the boys to avoid blood if at all possible. As I've said before, it's better to do these things quiet-like. Knock 'em out and grab the loot without drawing attention. The only fly in the soup is that I had to have a sit-down with the local alderman, a thug who goes by the name of Lord Marlow. We get to keep our thieving privileges, but only via a monthly donation. I had no idea the basement entrance to this place was next to the east tunnel gate. Had I known that, I would have found somewhere else to set up shop. So to be on the safe side, I boarded up the gate to the east sewer tunnel. We don't need any nasty surprises. On a more personal note, none of the boys can cook for Taff, so I'm having to be the cook and their den mother. Note to self, find a better spot for the vault key. The dang thing just keeps falling off the bedpost. That's this key. Vault key, that would be necessary. And then we have up here an old chest key. We need both of those keys. And we're going to drop down here. I think we can drop here quietly, actually. Well, not that way. But that way. Close this one. And then I think we're going to go into the next area. Oh, that was the restroom, okay.
Thought I heard something.
Yeah, we're not going to take that actually. We're going to take the one that we used here.
Ah, this must be the hideout.
Here we're dark. So here is first a handwritten tip. Perry thinks it could be near the old Gwendolyn place, and Wintle believes it is further south by Foundling's Pool. If you ask me, both have a witchy feel to them. So any guess is good. Best stick to the shadows, though. More footpads than watchmen down that way. S. So I'm not really sure what this is referring to. Gwendolyn's place. Foundling's Pool. I'm not sure. Gwendolyn. Maybe that's the name of an assassin we're going to find later. Foundling's Pool, I don't know where it is. So let me know what you guys think this is referring to. So there's the two guards that patrol in and out of this place have water arrows in their quivers. Let's see. 100% sure of where we're going to go here. This is the restroom. This is the kitchen. This, I think, goes back out to the cistern area. And this is the boarded up entrance. Yeah, because it's towards the east.
Was that a noise?
So we can... this way here. That takes us into another small bedroom. Now coming up to Agatha's bedroom. And her vault is past that. Here's Raphael's journal. Let's read that. I'm liking this new crew. They don't take unnecessary risks and look out for each other. This hideout is decent for the most part, but we had to barricade the east entrance and have been told to steer clear of that part of the sewers. The boss does her best to take care of us and make sure we all get our cut, but Lord Builder, her cooking tastes worse than the cistern smells on a hot day. This is the third time in a row her stew has given me the sheets. Like I keep telling her, we need fresh ingredients. No, ingredients. And these are. They have their own slang here, I guess. ingredients. So I think he's stationed now right outside. Yeah, the vault entrance. So we have to wait for him to pass us. Vault key. And then old chest key. There.
Was that a noise?
We need to be faster here. There we go. We locked both the vault and the chest. And we got the loot, 1757. That's treasure cache worth 300. And that checked off the optional objective of relieving the thieves of their stash.
What made that sound?
We're gonna head back down then, and
Alright, there we go.
whoa. There.
Did I see something?
Oh, jeez.
What was that?
A little bit bad timing here. There we go. We want to back up, and we want to return now. Let's see, we want to return. The old chest key goes up here. There, and the not the vent key, but the vault key. Yeah, that goes. No. Whoa. There. That's pretty good. That's very good, in fact. We have the vent key that we need to return next. There we go. No alerts. Now... No, we don't want to do that. We do want to jump and mantle onto this thing. There we go, good. Here, we can actually drop onto this part. And then we can mantle onto here, and then we need to mantle... Gotta wait for that guy to leave. Wow, there's a lot of rats here. Go. There's no manhole cover for that. Nope.
What am I supposed to do? Not say anything?
Let's see. So vent key. We can't hang it back up on that nail. So we just have to put it... Nearest logical place is here. That it's fallen off that. Nice. Okay. Well, that definitely warrants another real save. There. Okay. Let's see. Now we want to jump up here. Go this way. We can go this way. You can go this way as well. You can in fact jump all the way up there, I think, which leads you back to the upper bridge street. We're not going to need to go there now. We are going to need to be in here. This is actually the upper level of the substation. This is a warehouse of sorts. Well, no, it's a warehouse, not of sorts. Quite a few locks we have to pick. There's no key.
Who's been leaving doors open?
Oh!
Who's been leaving doors open?
Okay, maybe we need to...
Who's been leaving doors open?
Alright, well, we don't that's actually a bust. So we don't want that. This is again why I love the 2 quick saves system of the Dark mod. So somebody claimed that you can always drop quietly if you hold creep. That's not true. I'm holding creep right now and I dropped and I got detected. Pick this too. Get the trophy in there. And then we can also pick this. There are 4 bottles of wine in there.
In for a surprise.
You're in for a surprise too. You realize that the entire place has been robbed, just under your nose. And this isn't the only loot in here. There's a lot of loot in this place. Okay, so we have to move some things here now. No. Stay there. Move this back a little bit like that. Then we have to pick this open. Plates in there. Oh.
I swear, half of these new recruits were sweeping the streets a week ago.
There. And then we have to put this back. Like that. Good. There's also not everything. There's also a plate. Back here, 35, 25, 52. That is everything. The door up top of the stairs there is not probable, so there isn't a second level to this warehouse. However, if you go over here, then you come over to the southern area of the Bridge Street, the lower Bridge Street. So we're now east of the substation, right here. We don't need to go this way, but I wanted to show you the access point.
Doesn't do me any good sitting in a damn chest.
We're gonna head up here now.
What was that?
Oh. too. So now we're on Upper Street in the far southwestern area. This turns south for a little bit. Or actually, you can't... Well, yeah, I don't think you can get to this Upper Street from the other Upper Street directly. This is Harrington Manor right here. We're not going to go in there now, but it is what it is. You can't go into Harrington Manor from this level anyway. So here's a closed gate down towards Sloan Square. I don't think you can open this gate, actually. So we're now going to go through to Gilford Alley. Somebody heard us. The guard we saw earlier, I think. Comes down here. So this window here leads to the refectory, St. Andrew's Refectory. You can see that just north of Stone Street, which is where we're on right now. Hey! Why did you go back there? You should go somewhere else, buddy. This whole area here is not accessible. Here's another piece of loot in here that I had a hard time finding. I think Marbleman hinted to this one. So 1 gold there, very difficult to see. I opened this junction box at one point, but never saw the loot. Okay, so we're gonna go down here now. We have to pick the lock on this. Lock on this because there are 2 pieces of loot in here. 2 bottles of wine, 27.73. And then there's also a sewer entrance here. Well, we're not going to go down here, so. This is another pickable sewer door that I'm not going to pick. So we're now underneath Gilford's Manor in the far west. So if we head east here, where we're going now, there's a locked sewer door that is not pickable. However, there is a little control room here with a gate key, nothing else in this room. And that opens this. So you can only come from the west. Can't go the other way. And that takes you... If you go far east here, this is actually the door that I showed you from the substation. I went up a little staircase there. That's pickable. And there's another pickable door here. So this is an isolated sewer part in the western area that connects 3 establishments. Gilford's Wine Cellar, the substation, and this is Solitude Gardens that I showed you from Barrington Manor to the east, which is that balcony right there. So we don't need to utilize those 3 because we can easily move along the streets to get to any of those places, but I wanted to show you how they connect. not here now. Alright. This gate here is also pickable. I'm not going to want to pick it because I want to get up here a different way. You can do that. And then I think we can go all the way up here, right? Yeah. There's nowhere else to go here, really, from this area. This is just the building that we can go through. There's nothing in here. This takes us south. This is a courtyard, Gilford's courtyard, just by the apartments. St. Alan's Refectory is here. There is a chalice you can see that we need to take, but you can't get into that place. There's a sleeping guard here. He actually wakes up every once in a while and then nods back off right away. He doesn't stand up when he does that, but that we can't do. So if you land in the mantle, that's quiet. He hears that as well. That was good. Go over here. That was a hidden loot item. We have 10 to go. So that was the fourth, 25, total 27.98. Drop here. I'm not going to need to do that, but if we do, come down to this courtyard. This is one of several healing fonts. If you've lost any health, you can, a one-time use this and heal yourself all the way to the max. And here, this actually takes you through Diagon Alley down to Sloan Square. We're not going to need to go there this way, but that's the way to do it. Let's see. Go in here. Let's make it real safe. So we're going to make a first left here. And then we come out on Sloan Square, looking north here. The reason we're coming out here is because there is a well-hidden piece of loot in a little homeless shelter here. And that's our fifth hidden loot item. Got 9 to go. I think this is the only way to reach this. You can't come from that balcony. So you can see it though, the vent from other areas. I just love stuff like this. Just climbing and searching. So we have to go back, and now we instead go this direction. Now we come to another fork in the road. We're going to go right now. Down here's Drunk. We're now west on Wickham Street. This is right where we're going to end the mission. And over here is another goblet. This is another secret loot item. Number 6. There's a patroller down there, but he can't hear anything. There. 2848. So now we're going to come out at Sloan Manor. Oh, wow. There's a patroller, but he's on the balcony right now. Let's head over here. Oh. Goblet worth 15. Bottle of wine worth 50. 29.13. Now here are 2 candlesticks worth 40 each, but they will go out when you take them. This is not the type of candlestick that we find in quite a few other Dark Mode missions where you can take the candle part off and set it down without actually putting out the light, and then take the loot part of the candlestick only. That's not possible here. So removing of light sources is not allowed for Supreme, so this is 80 worth of loot that needs to be skipped. It sucks. It means that Perfect Supreme is out the window. It is what it is, though. There's nothing else we can do here. This is a nice room. I like it. We're going to go this way, which is south. We're going to go up here. So we are now southeast on Wickham Street, so that's the entrance to Anderson Manor. So that's where we are at right now. Let's see. Nothing to read here, just seems like it's owned by a person who's well read for sure. Here is a book. It is said that at the far edge of the world, where the sky meets the earth, reside a strange people known as the Anders Arken, who make their curious dwellings out of damp wood and mushroom tops. Their bright glowing lamps bring light of all colors to the eternal gloom that otherwise pervades this nether realm. They stand no taller than the quill with which these words were first put to paper, and it is not known what language they speak, if they speak at all, for though they are curious, they are extraordinarily shy. Any stray explorer who peers into the darkness of this bizarre place would find himself surrounded on all sides, above and below, by countless tiny eyes glinting and flitting about in the dark, to come so far off course. Okay. And here is another one of those candlesticks. Let me show you. See, if we touch the top piece, which you normally can just lift off the candle, you just lift the whole piece. And when we take the bottom, it just disappears. The whole thing disappears, and removing a light source, not allowed. So that's another one, the third one. There's 4 in total, so this is 120 total. Skipped now. All of these are worth 40. Seemingly, there's nothing else to do here, but yet there is. Here is a little glass display of some little miniature world. Let's frob that. Whoa. Probably the most memorable thing in the mission is this, because now we have not only entered a different world, but we have shrunk to miniature size. This is just so cool. And it's not just a picture, because you can see you move away, you can see that there's a three-dimensional area here. I think this is it's just really fascinating. So now we come to these mushroom homes. Pretty place. We have to go in here. There's nothing really in here. Except for this, which we can frob. Now we come to a world that is quite different. Reminds me a little bit of the strange world in Seeking Lady Lester. So I'm going to use the shadow here. See the shadow? There's rocks that fly by and block the sun. Very useful, because these floating balls are enemies. They can see you. So that you heard was first alert. So we want to land in the mantle here. Oh, we actually took damage from that. Yeah, we can get seen, heard, everything by these. They look like, you know, blue elementals, like from the Thief games. Look like they're inspired by the fire elementals. So there's these rocks that float by the sun, block the sun, but there's also just a general hovering of so we took damage there too. Ugh. So that we got spotted there. No, that wasn't enough. Gotta get by here without taking damage and without getting seen. How are we? So we can move. So now it got darker all of a sudden. Oh, here's a nice shadow line coming. So if we go here, here's a temple. We're gonna have to go in there eventually. We got spotted there. Before we go into the temple here, we're gonna have to go this way. There's a piece of there's a piece of loot. I believe we are safe here. I don't think these illuminate anything. Or maybe they do. No, I don't think so. Got spotted by somebody there. Don't know how many of these there are. But this is an area where there is loot. So it's convenient when a rock comes like that. Here are 2 bodies. Very eerie. Eyes open. Don't know what happened to them, but it's a purse worth 25, 29, 38. There's no readables, nothing, no diary that I found that would say anything about what's going on here. So we're apparently in the Anders Arken world right now, and I assume that these floating balls are then the inhabitants, maybe. Now we need to just get into the temple. So we need to sneak over here. This is the most difficult part of this world because there's no real good shade to move through. There. We did it. And now we got spotted through the doorway. Let's wait a little bit. Tough to know what direction they're facing. They heard me. Okay, I think we're home free now. So this reminds me a lot of the precursor culture from the Thief games, of course. Okay, and here's a water arrow. And the only interest in this room really are 3 gemstones on this shelf. 3008. Love the tune and the feel here. Just the living quarters, I guess, or the sleeping quarters. So it seems like at least there is some kind of creatures that are humanoid because of the statues, or maybe these ball creatures are worshipping humanoid creatures. Maybe that's why the statues are there. So here we have to avoid getting hit by these automatic fire traps. There are a couple of loose panels in the floor. Saw it there. I'm not sure what that is. Really? We want to make sure that we don't get hit and that we don't step on those loose panels. Could take a while. Definitely the time to go. What is it? Which one is it that... I don't know if those actually trigger anything. There we go. Yeah, we didn't break any of the panels and we didn't take any damage. Okay, obviously don't drop down here. And don't drop down here. It actually took me a while to figure out how to get across here in this room. And it's quite subtle, but it's interesting. So we see there's a statue with loot on the other side. And the only thing that indicates where we are going to be able to go here, or if you look up here, some of these ceiling tiles have a little bit of a clear texture to it. That shows exactly where we need to go. And we have to turn this way. Interesting. These lights come on. Then we have a statue, a ruby, goblet, and a vase. 3248. And then we have Anders Arken Death Mask. And that teleports us back to Anderson Manor. Right here. So Anders Arken Death...
This mask looks priceless. I don't think any of the fencers around here deal in solid gold.
So notice that it sounded like we took loot when we took it, but it doesn't add to our loot goal. So that we're going to need to get some loot towards the very end of the mission. Okay, so we need to wait this guy out a little bit. Oh, we took damage there actually. Interesting. Still have a hard time figuring out the distance and when you can mantle and all that in the dark mod. So we're going to drop here. So now we're east on Wickham Street. So we're about to head into Wickham Manor now. A couple of patrollers down here. The door up there, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Okay, in here there's a trophy, 250, 34.98. So we're now headed east. So we're now actually getting closer to Marlow Manor, so it's not too long until we're going to be in there. Here's a readable. Dear Lord Aldwin, proudly do I present to you your newest acquisition, this authentic vase dating back to the formation of the Minoan Empire, a masterpiece crafted from the purest gold and encrusted with the rarest gems from all corners of the known world. Historical records indicate that this vase once graced Tahir, the red marble palace of Emir Fazir the True. But now this majestic treasure has found a new home in your halls, a spectacle to behold for all of your esteemed guests. As ever, I would be most pleased to welcome you to Henders and Sons Antiquities Emporium in particular at the end of this month, when a new shipment of rare and astounding wares from around the world is due to arrive. Faithfully yours, Mr. Henders. Okay. When I got here on my test run, this guy was stuck. He was walking into the corner at the base of that pipe that goes up there. So this is a gate. There's a gatehouse. This is the Traveler's Rest, an inn that we can't get into. There's nothing to do in the streets here, so we can stay up here as much as possible. This guy should go into the gatehouse soon.
Stand here, stand there. Oh, and for fun, you can walk around in circles.
Hello, buddy. Let's go. Okay, so a few days have actually passed now, and this guard is indeed stuck, and I've had to do some testing here, and we are now in that predicament where, because of the engine bugging out, this guard has coincidentally ended up facing a door that we have to enter to get all the loot that I want. So this is the case that I talked about in the last video, and that's just notorious. It's happened so frequently that I think something needs to be done. I mean, I'm sure that the creators are trying to fix it. I think it's unknown why it happens. This guard is supposed to station himself there, but he's supposed to face this direction, so northwest, and I think also maybe southeast, directly away from us. But he has been positioned now and stuck facing the door. Now, experimenting with him, I have actually found a way, I think, to now consistently unstick guards without affecting the stealth score or the stealth stat at all, and without using any consumables or using cheats or the console command system, if you call that cheating. So let's see if this works now. Let's see. So we have to use the note here to drop quietly first. So I tried a variety of things. I tried to to push him, of course, but you can't in the dark mod. They notice you right away. Then I tried sort of placing objects close to him, and then I tried using inventory items to bump him enough to be freed. Problem is that typically makes noise because you bump into him and or his gear. Or if they bump into him, the object will fall to the ground and make noise. However, if we use said note, it could be any note, but I think that a flat piece of paper is best. And if you slide it underneath and then sort of try to lift it up by moving the mouse up, that is what I've found to be. So now he noticed that. Yeah, so now he gave a search, but this isn't foolproof, but this should be able to work sooner or later. So now if he gives that, that's an alert, so we don't want that. There we go. See that? He didn't make a remark. No number up in the stealth stat. And it was pretty easy to do, and it was soundless. Let's make a real save right there. So now we can go in and get the loot in here that we need. Three gold stacks and a silver stack. He is stationed there for a while. The other sleeping guard doesn't have anything interesting. So yeah. This forced me to do some experimentation, and I think if we can do that, I don't think anybody would say that's a bust. I mean, it is an engine exploit. But it's certainly not, you know, it's certainly excusable in the case that we're in right now. So I think that should be good. Now we are moving east. And we are actually getting close to Marlow's here. I'm gonna head over here to this. To this balcony first. Knowing the clipping border of ledges in the dark mud is still something I struggle with. I don't know how far each item extends. Like when I landed, it sounded like I landed on metal, which is this chain. So we can't go into this door, but we can grab a goblet worth 15 here. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Oy. So yeah, let me know what you think about that method, but using a silent object like a flat piece of paper, if you can consistently free guards, as long as you can approach them from the back of them. Here's another goblet worth 15, 25.39. Then I don't think anyone would complain on that. I know a couple of you were involved in that discussion in the last video. So give me your feedback, but I'm happy I got to show that method. And it worked, you know, after, what, 3 tries? Not even. 2 tries? Why can't I mantle up there? I was able to do that. Okay. I should be able to mantle up here. Don't know why I can't, because I should be able to. Yeah, well now I can, okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, I do have a rope here. We can do that then, okay, good. There. So I don't think we need to go in here, but this takes us back to further west here, close to where we were where the guard got stuck actually. And we couldn't get up there from that street, so it's an alternate way. But that was the 7th hidden loot item. Another one this was worth 25, so 35.64. Don't know why I had such a hard time mantling up there, but I guess using that. Using the rope is the key here. Somebody sees us here. We have to go over to that ledge. Somebody on the ledge there, or on the balcony there. That's Marlow's balcony, I think. Okay. Yeah. I believe that is Marlow's balcony. There we go.
3 6s in a row.
Okay, so we're moving around here now. We are on Tree Square. We're moving northeast, on Tower Street actually, so we're coming up on Marlow Manor. Now there is a brothel. Oh, okay. Here. I don't know if I actually can drop onto this lamp. I can. That guard, I think, goes downstairs. The brothel is completely empty, just, you know, rooms with women. Except for one coin at the very top floor. So I'm not going to show you the other levels. There's just rooms. There's no readables, nothing. There's a guard out front, or maybe that's the guard that we saw. 35.65. So now we are ready to head into Marlow's Manor. That people here. There we go. We can go into event here. So the first thing we're going to do in Marlow's is actually enter a dining room here. Ventilation shaft is very useful. We are going to get a couple of candlesticks in here. They're not lit up, so those we can take. 36.45. So we're not gonna stay in here though. Close the bottom vent here. We did. Okay, so now we come to a fork. We're not going to go this way. We're going to go out here. Going to actually come into the top floor gallery right away here. So you can hear a camera. It's behind this little box in the middle. That's actually the main vault. Over here's an elevator. Attention! Some of the serving staff have reported getting stuck while using the elevator, most probably as a result of excessive usage. A journeyman from the Inventors Guild has been summoned to inspect and effect repairs. Until then, this elevator is only to be used by myself, Lady Marlow, and visiting guests. All others are to make use of their own 2 legs, which they have been given by the Lord Builder, Lord Marlow. Okay. Over here is a stack of coins. And up here are 2 plates. 37.17. There's an archer that comes in and out of a balcony that's right here. Whoa. Maybe that's him. There's another archer here, I think there's 2. That guy there, I think, goes up and down multiple floors. You also have the guard captain in here from time to time.
Noise?
There, that's the archer that goes out this door, which takes him to the balcony. And he comes in here and stations himself outside the main vault gate. There's a pickable lock to that gate that we're going to pick. And here's the camera, and it pans over to that lock. So we have to go and pick it open when it's panning away. This guard here will notice this gate being open, so we have to make sure that we leave it closed. But he will not notice the items inside the vault being gone, even though he could potentially see that. Okay, 2 rounds. We might be able to get it on the next one. Depends on how long the guard is out there. Okay, now it's unlocked. I'm gonna go back. They won't notice that it's unlocked, of course. And there's no key that works for it. and we can't therefore relock it. Okay, that guard goes out then and probably downstairs. I didn't know that. That's the guard captain. He has a key. We're going to close it so that nobody sees it. Okay, and here's a trophy. That was heard. Worth 250, and the skull also worth 250. That got us past 4,000, which completed that objective. Okay. So here we can't get spotted by anybody. So here we can pick that lock. It's just a lock for the clamps that are holding the painting in place. There. And now we can take that.
Well met.
The painting was worth 547.17, and that completes one of the main objectives. And nobody sees the 3 major items inside the vault that is completely viewable is missing. That's okay. I'm not complaining. Just an observation. Both of these archers here have arrows. Okay. We can go here, then we're actually underneath its view. Okay, this takes you out to the north balcony. This door is not pickable or not openable. This takes you down. This is the guard captain's room right here. We don't need to get his key to get in there. It's not pickable. But if he comes by, I will take the key just so that we can see what's in there. He might be out and about right now. Actually, for good measure. Not ID clip. That's the Doom 2 code for no clipping. Oh, that went fast, but I just wanted to do that so that I can show you what's in here. Here is the machine room key, which we actually do not need. But it will take you into the machine room then. But we can access the machine room from the other side with another key. No, the machine room is to the room that controls the cameras. as this readable will instruct. Captain Peterson, after your predecessor was fired for his gross incompetence, I've had one of those wondrous security cameras installed in the gallery. If for whatever reason the camera is not operational, the power supply can be found in the machine room. I provided you a key for said machine room should you need to gain access. You must keep this key secure at all times. Lose it and lose your job, Lord Marlow. Okay, so we don't need to take his key so he doesn't have to worry about his job. Maybe losing the painting will lose his job, I'm not sure. So we're gonna head in here.
Marlow appears to be out for the night. Now I just need to find out where.
So we completed the objective of finding out where, or finding Lord Marlow. So now it changed to looks like Marlow's out. Look for a lead on his location. So we have actually found his location because we've taken his purse. So we haven't taken his key though. The elaborate key. Okay, let's see here. So in this, we have a bottle of wine. We can close this. There is a guard that comes in here, yes. Over here is a key, a fancy key at that. I wish I had a fancy key. There's an upstairs here, but all it is bookcases, and it's completely empty otherwise. There's nothing else, nothing to read or anything. We can go downstairs to Marlow's lower level. This is sleeping quarters. Is there anything in here? I think so. I think there's a person here, yeah. Just want to bump into the chair there. Why I can't close this again. What on earth? There. Now here is a drawer that is locked, and the fancy key unlocks it. This is Marlow's final letter. Lily, this can go on no further. I do not know if you still live, for you have ceased even to whimper. But this childishness must end. A stone mason has been found, and shall arrive before dawn to liberate you from your prison. And yet another specialist has been found to deal with the nuisance of this Andreas. I shall meet her in person this very eve, so that I can proffer an appropriate advance payment. I do ponder just how she will kill him. Knives? Poison? The possibilities have no bounds, yet the end result will remain the same. Now, my dearest Lily, you must excuse me as I make my way to Upper Bridge Street. I must say I'm curious as to why a woman of her reputation would live in such a run-down shack. I shall write again, my sweet Lily Flower. Affectionately yours, Geoffrey. So that completes a lead on his...
The judge will be interested in this. I should see if I can find more letters like this.
So now we got several new objectives. Discourage Marlow's assassin from carrying out her job. Okay, you can also get this objective if you find the assassin first, I believe. Death is too good for Marlow. Expose him by leaving enough evidence on the courthouse captain's desk. So that's a non-lethal alternate objective. And then Marlow is a bastard of the worst kind. Remove him from the equation permanently. So you are allowed to kill him, and that's a lethal version. So whichever one of those two you do, the other one will be removed. So we're obviously going to do the non-lethal version, which means that we have to find all the letters and leave those at the courthouse. So I think that's it. So we're going to hang on to this. We are going to relock this one. Two goblets and a bottle of wine here. 5017. Then we're going to go ahead and return that key. Oh, he did not see me. The fancy key. We don't have any keys. Alright, so that's going to be the end of part 1. I'm splitting this up into 2 parts. Decided on that actually when I finished the whole video, seeing how long it was altogether. So yeah, thanks for watching part 1, and we'll resume and finish this mission in part 2. So I hope to see you back then. Until that time, have a good day. Bye-bye.